Africans can be agents, countries can, stand up for themselves when it comes to climate change. And I think for me that was the first time I actually thought about what does climate change mean from the African experience? Why do we sort of matter? What's happening in the international negotiation space? African states, because of our vulnerability in terms of economics, in terms of our ability to adapt, adaptation is really important. So I really found that quite interesting to be able to sort of use adaptation and how can we use adaptation from a subordinate level to be able to sort of combat these, these are also colonial powers who are thinking about how we view Africa. I think that's something that's important, how the story about Africa, how we write about Africa. Energy in the main frame, maybe perhaps the idea of energy in the mainframe or in the normal societal setting is something that's quite new, but it's always been around. There are currently 600 million plus Africans without electricity. Energy poverty is something that plagues African continents from really developing. So if we think about those stats right there, in order for us to sort of reach our full potential as Africans, electricity is a prerequisite for us to develop. And Lesotho, where we operate, the Lesotho Highlands, or Lesotho is already one of the countries that has the least, one of the lowest access to energy. Currently, if we look at the stats, there's more than 50% of, that's over, 1.2 million, somewhere there, a figure where these people are without, electricity in the Lesotho Highlands. So that's where Khantša Energy came in. I suppose when you think of just the idea of Forbes Africa, when you think about profit, money, the billionaire status, I think giving it the person who really inspired me, I think you interviewed her last year, was Charlotte. And the idea of social entrepreneurship, the idea that profit making and money isn't the do-all and end of it, I think we're driven by that motive. But when you're in the climate and energy space, you realize that the successes are elusive. You realize that the wins won't come immediately. We need to be patient.
What do you say is being the first person from Lesotho on the list?
Sounds quite amazing when you put it that way, but I don't want to be the first person to do everything all the time. It's not like something that you can really celebrate when you're the only one in this space. The first person to be, it's really lonely when you're in that space, but I really believe that there's more of us. There's amazing young people in the country that are migrated into South Africa and all parts of the world actually, but sort of doing such amazing work. And and maybe just to highlight that there is actually, the forgotten shadow of Lesotho being South Africa's, shadow or little brother or little sister, whatever you want to call it. So that essence is actually something that, the essence of being forgotten is something that's really real in society and how we even project and how we even think or talk about Lesotho. We are people who think, we do matter. We do have access to, the plight of our very least developed country. So all of these structural, social, boundaries or things that impede us from really progressing are real. But I think you really have to, see yourself, you really have to push beyond the boundaries.